name is Ari,
And I am Heinrich.
and welcome back for episode, I believe, number 7 of our Smolensk
Excellent.
gameplay series. Um, in this episode, I will be resuming the German offensive. In the last episode, we spent near an hour sitting and just moving reinforcements onto the board and examining our options. Uh, I will hopefully recall half of it as part of my next sequence of operations as we move into the movement. I do of course remember that we placed a majority of our forces here at entry point J, because I determined in the last video that one of the more significant points of my advance towards Smolensk is going to be across this bridge. I didn't want to attack across the more isolated points on the Dnieper. I am still going to cross at Mogilev, and I'm still kind of brainstorming how to cut the apple pie past Vitebsk. I think I did decide that I'm not going to drive towards Village, so we can move on and keep going from there. I do have some fueled units still, and these are deliberately fueled. These are not a mistake. These were fueled in the reaction during Heinrich's turn. Do you remember that, right, Heinrich?
I remember it all too well.
Yep, yep,
You upset my attack plan by
yep.
moving 18th Panzer in, I think.
Right, and I think that's something I need to keep in mind this turn as well. When I'm formulating my advance, is that it will be good to have reserve units ready to go yet again. Um, Now, with that being said, a question that I left unanswered in the previous video was, where are we going to put those bridge markers? So, for example, I think if we go to the German offboard box, we have 3 bridge/airstrip markers. Before I proceed, I'll just ask my usual question. Heinrich, are you ready to go?
I am ready to
Okay.
go.
All right. Let's jump into things for an hour to an hour and a half of non-stop talking from me. Right, so the bridge markers, I should know this off by heart without looking at the manual. The bridge markers act as a HQ bridge. They're going to turn a minor river into no hexside penalty, and they're going to turn a major river into a minor river hexside penalty, right? So we only get 3, and an airstrip is not useless either, so it's important to consider wisely how we're going to play this. I think our Mogilev is where they're going to be the most pertinent, and as I now keenly remember, there is still a very large contingent of forces in Mogilev that needs to be ground down. Um, Siege warfare is not my favorite thing in OCS, but sometimes you just have to cut that cookie. By the way, Heinrich, your 2 supply points in Mogilev is unhidden,
Hmm.
and also fearsome, and a strong reminder
Well, that
that
was part of my,
psychological warfare
description.
campaign.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I'll hide
Okay,
it now.
all right.
It has done its.
So I'm sufficiently psychologically disturbed by the revelation, because let's just say, as a heuristic guess, there is 6 regimental equivalents in there, with 1T feeding 2 regimental equivalents. That's a cost of 3T per turn. Um, if 2 supply points are all that's in there, and it may not be, this stack can be a thorn in my side for at least 3 or 4 turns, of which point I need to be way past it. So,
Okay, I actually need to make a small adjustment to that stack now because I neglected to absorb a breakdown regiment. I couldn't do that when I moved the breakdown regiment in because I think the parental division was disorganized and the breakdown I moved in was not. But I should have done this at the end of my turn
that's okay.
when the disorganized markers were removed. I'll do that now.
Yep, yep. It's just a bit of minutiae. It doesn't have a big impact on the grand scheme of things. So, realistically, what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be looking at my 3 axes of advance, and I'm going to try and direct energy as efficiently and intelligently as possible from the front line all the way back to the entry points on the edge of the map, right? We want every single unit needs to be used to the best of its utility, including if it needs to go into reserve, that is also sometimes the best of its utility. So you know what? Let's start here on the southern edge of the map around Mogilev and take an inventory of the situation. So we've got a large mass of forces pushing up against the Dnieper, and nothing is quite over yet, and we have quite a number of forces, quite a number of potential crossing points. We haven't moved anything yet, so this is the time where we need to put the bridge down. Like I said in a previous video, yes, it would be nice if I could move everything around and play chicken with the enemy before I put my bridge down, but the rules are specific about this because I need to live with my decision. Um, Now, the bridge marker bridges all adjacent hex sides, which is another important thing to remember. Um, as placing it in the right location. For example, if I place it here, I only have 1 crossing point. If I place it here, I have 2 crossing points. If I place it here, I have 3 crossing points, which is an important thing to keep in mind. And then obviously I have these arriving units that I've allocated to the southern quartile of the map, I'll call it. It's not a quartile, it's more like thirds, but anyway. I don't know what the quartile equivalent word for thirds is.
I don't know either.
Yeah, maybe there isn't one. But yeah, we've got a few mobile forces here, but it's mostly infantry divisions with a step loss. So not much utility in crossing the river right now. But immediately what comes to me with Mogilev is this hex here. It has three crossing points. It's got no opposition on the crossing point sides. So I might end up going with it, but we shall see. I need to take a look at the logistical situation as well. We have we got four supply points, 3T. We've got some 3 supply points arriving in the trucks. I also need to keep in mind, of course, that the transport points here are not dedicated to any particular front. Some of them I couldn't even control where they're arriving from, but I need to be mindful of where I send them because, as of even next turn or this turn, well, not this turn, but definitely possibly as of next turn, they could be being utilized to form extenders. I also need to keep in mind that I have a HQ here that is drawing trace supply. It's in move mode. I could move it further, or I could put it into combat mode. Right, if I put it into combat mode, that's where my trace supply is going to be originating from. But it's going to be in truck, and if you go to your TEC, and this TEC is usually pretty much the same across most games, open, and minor rivers 6. So with this being a 10, if I put it into combat mode and I put the bridge here, it's going to be 1 and a half, 2.5 plus 6, which is now 8.5. So that could also be 9, 10, 10. So it's enough to get across the river, but it's not quite enough to do much more effective than that. There's also the fact that I have a zone of control being emitted from Mogilev and from this alarm unit, which prevents me from being super creative with my reserve markers right now, since a great deal of the units that I would like to use and be creative with are unable to enter reserve mode while that zone of control remains. So the only way I would be able to remedy that is with a DG, which would have to come from a a hip shoot, of which we have clear skies, we have the capability to do, and with the density of Mogilev, there's a pretty good chance that one hip shoot should give me the DG that I'm looking for, though let's not get too excited with that. Um, there's also this unit here which could go into reserve mode and cross the river in its combat mode without needing to do anything else, and while also being able to remain in reserve and then move via reserve movement, its full movement allowance. There's a number of things to consider here. There's also to consider, once I get across the river, where am I going? I have not much interest in heading south. There's very little to be gained, personally, in my opinion, for the German player to get caught up in that salient of the map. It's just as easy to reach Roslavel by crossing the River Soj over here and heading south. So my traditional course of action would be to isolate these units to the best of my ability, and I think I could potentially surround these units if I applied force correctly, and I could potentially at least reach as far as this highway. As for how am I actually going to get trace supply to people crossing that highway, that's a much harder question, because this bridge here at Mogilev is the only way, and just a bridge mark or a HQ bridge is not going to be enough. This is a major river, unfortunately. So, and even if I was to clear this road up here and have a HQ nearby, which I've got one here. That's not reaching even as far as Gorky, really, because you don't have any secondary roads to move on. So these are all the things that you kind of need to consider when moving against this. So it really kind of brings up the question of would I assault Mogilev now? Would I want to open up that bridge now? There is a large amount of resources that would require. I've got 6, 7. I have 10 supply points, which may not actually be adequate to take down Mogilev. But then again, I can't quite remember if I even killed the NKVD unit in there. There's enough time between these videos, and I'm not going to go back and watch previous videos. I'm not going to do that. So my enemy benefits from my poor memory. So as far as I could tell, there could be a 4 action rating in there, which would also make things a lot more difficult for my
Yeah,
assault.
but I mean, the NKVD comes with a downside, though, right?
Yeah, it does.
Uh, I mean, well, obviously, it has to be used as the action rating unit, plus all option results that the defender gets have to be taken as step losses, even those that could normally be ignored.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
in your first attack, let's say, you could actually, you won't be forced to use your option as a step loss.
yeah. So
No.
with Mogilev being as serious as a linchpin as it is, I feel as if I am kind of forced by necessity to generate a strategy that does its best to nullify Mogilev as a threat with as you have to select units for this. You cannot send any armored units. Maybe one, preferably
Mhm.
none. IRGD actually should be able to provide the 5 action rating that I need, although I may need to prepare a follow-up attack in the exploitation, so I may need to include an Aufklärung battalion to follow up on that. But basically, leaving behind the bang for buck infantry regiments as part of these panzer divisions, which have a 7 combat strength per T spent, which and also no halving of their combat strength in the urban environment, unlike what a tank would have. So I think I need to develop a strategy that involves getting the mobile units across the river, getting the infantry units into combat, and essentially praying with fingers crossed that I can position the units across the river to the extent that in the supply phase they'll still be in reserve and they'll still be in reach of the HQ, which can provide them with trace supply. And then in
Mhm.
the exploitation phase we can clear Mogilev and we can advance further towards our goals and create a pathway that would allow them to receive trace supply at least in the next turn. And we can of course send their trucks with them to prepare for any contingent counterattacks from the Soviet side before that trace supply reaches them if Mogilev doesn't fall in this first turn. And on top of all that, we need to include perhaps some reserves that we can work with in case anything else goes further south. So I'm thinking with this, what I want to do is set up 2 bridges, which is a lot, but basically this is the biggest river obstacle I'm going to be up against, period. I don't necessarily think that this river up here is that much of a threat to worry about, and I don't plan on crossing the river here. Offers me no tactical advantage in taking out this hostile, which is my key across the bridge there. So I feel justified in using 2 bridge markers here before I move anything. I'm not going to second guess myself. It may be the second best idea, it may be the third best, but there's no point sitting around second guessing. I'm going to put 2 bridge markers here, and I'm going to make them the linchpin of my strategy.
Yeah. I'll just add one thought here. I think you're correct. And for crossing rivers later on, further to the east, I think by the time you get there, you will have plenty of HQs available to do the bridging.
That's right. Yes, I'm not too concerned about that. And while I could use HQs now, I don't have the extra time. I don't have the extra
Right,
turn to
exactly.
wait.
That's why you need to use your markers. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to put those 2 bridges there, and I'm going to get the 2 DGs that I want, so that I can put everything into reserve as freely as I wish. I'm going to probably start with my Luftwaffe off-map box to see if I can get some, some strikes here with things that I'm not so keen on. BF-110s are a good thing for that. We're not using long range. No, we're not. For the purpose of this tutorial, we're not using any long range air effects rules, are we?
Yep, that's
Okay.
correct.
Alright, so from the edge of the map, which is 30, to Mogilev is no problem for the BF-110s, so I shall start with those. So here's a hip shoot on Mogilev. I'll roll for flak. I believe it's going to be +1 for
For the airbase.
and no other modifiers. And
That's correct.
There's no patrol zones.
No.
Not close enough to not close enough. Okay, rolling for flak. No flak, so we're going to find ourselves, I think, starting in the 5 to 7 column. What are my density shifts?
+3.
Oh goodness. 1, 2, 3, 17 to 24. -1 for a hedgehog. -1 for very close terrain. Right, so we're going to be 8 to 11 for a net shift of +1, which is good. Rolling. It's a 7, which is a DG. Right, so we managed to do that with a bit of luck, without needing to use our formidable Ju-87s yet. Now, unfortunately, as small as it is, this militia battalion also has a zone of control, so it needs to be taken care of. I probably need to use something that's a bit beefier for that, although I can try my luck with a BF-110. So I'll just roll for flak. Now I can already tell that there's going to be a shift to the left for density,
Yeah.
and I'm going to roll for that, and I'm not going to have any luck. I don't have much use for these BF-110s besides this, so I'm just going to try my hand at that again. I'll do one more time before I have to use the heavy hitters. 8, no flak hit. Okay, right, looks like I'm going to have to apply a little bit more force to this. Okay, these guys know. DO-72. Yeah, DO-72 would be perfect for this job. Roll for flak, roll for hit. Right. That's 7, 8 to 11. No. Give me one more bit of luck here. No. Oh, God. Sometimes you just don't get any luck. I really want to be able to put...
But hang on. We started out on the 8 to 11. Oh, yeah, you're right. I see it now. You needed an 8 or more.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I have done this so many times. I'm used to it. Okay. In that case, we will just go ahead and use, was it 3019? Well, is that even possible? Oh, it is. Okay, well, these JU-87Bs aren't even going to be able to hit anything else more than this, the ones from the off-map box, so we shall... And we may end up making an airbase soon anyway, so alright. Flak, no, and we're going to be in the 12 to 16 and 8 to 11, rolling for... Oh, snake eyes.
Jesus,
That's
you're very
okay.
unlucky.
Yeah, and
Can I just ask one question? I mean, in the third Panzer stack that is adjacent, if there was an infantry regiment, you would have the additional option of doing an overrun across the major river. Is that correct, or does it have to be frozen? Maybe I'm.
It's not correct. No, I don't have the ability to overrun because the leg cost for a major river is all, and the cost would have to be
Ah, yeah, yeah,
3 or
of course.
less.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
All right.
yeah, you're right.
One more throw at this, and I'll abandon my folly. I'm sure everybody watching this video can see that I'm getting tunnel vision with this, but I'll give up if this one doesn't work. No flak with that, and no hit. So, okay, I'm going to, I'm going to transfer them to the map, and I'm just going to have to come up with a different strategy. Oh, actually, well, if I have a bridge marker for that matter, I could just overrun them. So I think I might just do that instead. I'll have to use one of these mobile units that I wanted to put into reserve. Um, yeah, disclaimer, although I only used, what, two, yeah, most of my not... I've still got plenty of bomber aircraft left available to use for other things. Don't get tunnel vision like that. Do consider your other options. Now, you the bridge marker here, um, with a bridge marker here, crossing there is going to cost me, I think, 3 plus 1 for track. Yep, so I'm just going to use a bit of that fuel to cross here, and I'll spend 1T to do an overrun. And, right, are you going to pay for your defense?
Let me just see. So we are added 12 to 3. Why not? Let me see where that comes from, though. Yeah, I'm going to pay from this light up here.
Yep, okay. In hindsight, I should have done this before using all those bombers, but hey.
I mean, if you like, we can just go back and assume
No, no,
you
no,
had
no,
done
no.
this
It's
immediately.
I'm not here to show everybody how a genius plays. Sometimes I have to show them how an idiot plays too. Um, right. So now that we've got that and that's been paid for, I've got 6 times 2, which is 12 divided by 3, which is 4. So it's going to be 4 to
One.
1 in open terrain with a dice roll modifier of +4 in my favor. Rolling for surprise. Got it. Shift 1. So 4 to 1 becomes 5 to 1. Roll for a 6. 6 plus a 4 is 10. Oh, geez. Actually, that was one dice away from being an AO1. That would have been a little worse. But anyhow, yeah, off to the dead pile. Right, so that's 4. Now, plus 3 is 7. I shall move here, as I always wanted the 3rd Panzer to sort of be, excuse me, an encircling force to suppress these guys here. Actually, for that matter, um, another way that I can do that is by putting this guy in reserve, moving him here, and he can move there in exploitation. Right, well, now that we've got all of the ZOC out of the way, we can actually plan our offensive movement and isolate Mogilev for an assault. We've got the 2 bridges, right? So I need to put this guy into combat mode, and I need to map the furthest extent of my throw range here. So 1, 2, 3. 3 plus 6 is 9. And we've got 10. I'm just going to change this to a color I can associate with a supply. Right. 1, 1.5, 2.5. Crossing here would be 8.5, 9.5. Right. Crossing here would be 8.5. So we've also got 9.5, which would also mean that we can go here. And if crossing here would be 8, no, that would be 8.5, 9, 10. That also means that you can go there. And we got 8.5, 9.5, right? So now we have what is like a good line for us to sort of be like, okay, hey, I can put things in reserve and I can move them up to and including that line of hexes. Because if I was to move them beyond that, they would be out of trace supply from the HQ and they would have to feed off the map during the supply phase, and we really want to avoid that, right? So, okay, 1, 2, 3. So, 1, 2, 3. No, it's not going to get across. Alright, so this fellow, if you put him in reserve, okay, yep. Okay, good. We can, right. I'm just going to retroactively use 3T to fuel up the 3rd Panzer Division because I spent 1T before and
Yep.
realistically it should have been a fueling. And,
Sure.
you know, again, while that may not be entirely within the rules, that's usually something that we do if it just makes sense. Right, I can move him across in reserve mode. And I can move this fellow here. Yeah, that's a good question. 1 plus 1 plus 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I could do it that way. Could do it a few different ways, actually. And if I do him, 3, 1, 2. If you're there, 1, 1 plus 6, 7. You've got room to move. Okay, so I'll take these two guys here and I'll go 1, 2, which they can do in reserve mode within a quarter of their range. That's a good one. 3rd Panzer Division needs to go. This guy needs to go into reserve. That's a good question. Can transport points conduct pickup within, so in the quarter of movement that they're allowed to do while they're in reserve mode, can they conduct transport point activities? I don't know the answer to that
Yeah,
question.
why not? I mean,
Well, even then, I could just put him across the bridge anyway, which I think I'll do. So I don't even have to measure this because it's well within his 45 movement to go here, cross here, and go under here. Again, that's just a time-saving measure. Although obviously when in doubt, always measure. Right. So yep, that's good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. So anybody that would be coming across there would be able to get access to that supply in the event that they were not able to get trace supply. Good. And he can cross and 1 woods truck 1, 4, 5. Ooh, he better be getting trace supply from somebody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Well, we need to cover this up if he's to be getting trace supply. It's important to remember that. Yeah, another good question. Is the cavalry going to be going across the river? Questions, questions, questions. While we're doing that, we can also focus on getting that infantry strength that we need prepared to assault. Was that 3 shifts before? What is that? That's 6. Yeah, that is 6 regimental equivalents. What a good guess, huh? Alright. Jeez, it's going to be a fun one. Alright, mechanized is halved in Minor City as well. So we've got a hell of a time ahead of us, I think. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Avoiding the interdiction marker. You guys can go here as well. Jeez, we need action rating, we need strength, we need a lot of things here. We may even need a few. We may need an artillery barrage. Realistically, we may need an artillery barrage. Do we?
To inflict a step loss, you mean?
Yeah, it may be necessary.
Mm.
It may be prudent. Do we have a supply cache? We do. Whether we would use it or not. Okay, 1, 2 to include the. Yep. Right. What other? All right. Yeah, we've got these guys. The SS Das Reich, which is not got good action ratings, but we'll be able to. Okay, now we don't want those guys to go there, because you also have to be mindful when you make up these stacks. You need to be mindful that you're not giving the enemy any shifts, any untoward shifts that you don't want to give them.
You mean density shifts for
Yeah,
reaction
density
air
shifts.
barrages?
Yeah, exactly.
But I can't
Not
fly
right,
in reaction, right? I mean,
not right now, no. But they will be
mhm.
there in your turn, and
Yeah.
you know, I mean, okay. Admittedly, yes, that's not much of a risk. I will say that, but it's a good habit to get into. Um,
Hmm.
I may go over those limits anyway, now that you mention it. But right. Um, okay, now 4th and 10th Panzer's mobile units. We want to be sending you guys into the breach to thrust forward, and yeah, because we've got a few. Kind of want to. Kind of want to start putting down some. Okay, I am letting the enemy know of my intentions by putting these down, but it's more of just a thought exercise of where I want to sort of be ending up once I am able to get access to exploitation. You know, where I want to be having units in order to pin down the enemy. That if I could get them into those positions this turn, it would be opportune for me. Right, now we've currently got 8, 16, 24, 34, 42, 50, 57, my math sucks, 64, 71, 71 combat strength against Mogilev, which is okay. On average, a Russian step is going to be about 4 to 5 strength. So if we 5 times 6 steps, 30 divided by 2 is most likely to be somewhere in the 15 to 20 range of strength. So when we look at 71 divided by 20, we're at 3.55. So I'm thinking at the current rate, we'll at least get 4 to 1 and very close, with hopefully a +1 DRM. Still not quite good enough if I'm being honest and wanting to make this meaningful. So I think another step will be that the 4th Cavalry needs to be. This doesn't quite really have the range. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Can put them there and them there. Right. Again, this is part of having a backup plan. Alright, so 4th Cav can be part of that backup plan. What else have we got available to us? Not much else. I mean, as much as I would love to let Mogilev die on the vine based on what I know, the amount of steps and the amount of supply in there, it could hold for a while, so I don't want to really allow that to be the case. And we have saved up a significant degree of supply, although obviously assaulting is going to eat up some of that, as will the artillery strikes, but hey, nothing ever comes easy. Right, we've got the SS Reichs Aufklärung Battalion, which is also a 5 action rating, which could provide support in the event of a follow-up assault, which is also something that we need to entertain the possibility of. Geez, that's hardly worth it. Hardly worth it either. Yeah, no, so we don't, having dedicated all of that into the first assault, we don't have much left to do a second assault on Mogilev, so all we can really do is just hope that it works. Um, hope that it does enough damage, and hope that maybe a follow-up might do some, uh, might have an actual result in that regard. Now, to right, positioning units to strike ahead of Mogilev. Right, so we have a bridge there. Okay. 10th Panzer can, in its combat mode, okay, we can move here and go into reserve.
Hmm?
So it's only moving 1 hex. What else? 14 divided by 4. Yeah, 3.5, right. 1. There's also a train busting marker there I need to keep in mind of. So it'll be 1, 2, 1, 2. So 1.5, 3.5. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look up. I just put him here in reserve. It's about the best I can hope for with that right now. What else? Right, 4th Panzer. Yep, a lot that can be done there. Question is combat mode or movement mode. 2. I shall, what would that be? 1, 5. So none of them can cross the river in reserve mode, that's just a fact. So where I'm going to put them now, I may as well just leave them there and put them in reserve. Artillery is not important to the advance right now, although it is very important to the assault. I think I want to be, what, 18 plus 18? What is that? 15 through 36. It's 25 to 40. I think I want to open with a 41 to... Or do I want to do more than that? Hope for a high roll. I think 41 to 68 will be sufficient. So we can have that for the initial artillery strike. And then we can have some follow-up artillery. In the event... Yeah, we can put you there. In the event that I am needing more than what I already have. 10th motorized. Right. I'm not moving much here because unfortunately the big blocking Mogilev fortress doesn't allow me to. But a lot's going to be contingent on the results of an assault. Now that's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 7. No. 2, 3. 5 plus 3. 8. No. Just trying to find a HQ that can successfully fuel a vast majority of what I've brought in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, yeah, this guy's going to have to do HQ fueling. Just to get everybody... We don't want like that. Yeah. Just to get everyone cracking. These mobile units especially. Yeah, these guys, what we can do, what, 13, 1, 2, 3. And we can just use one reserve marker for that. They're all fueled.
Oh.
Infantry, whether I want to move them up in reserve or whether I want to move them up with strat mode. I don't think strat mode is pertinent right now. It just makes them a target.
Ari, sorry for interrupting. It just occurred to me that there are a few interdiction markers on the
Yeah,
map. Did you take?
I have been minding them, yes.
Good,
It's
excellent.
the reason why this fellow here is in reserve, only two hexes away from where he
Right.
started.
Yeah, I was just wanted to make
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. No, I haven't passed through it yet. Although of course I will be in time. Um, you know what? Yeah, I think I'll just move these guys up normally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4. And they can't enter the next hex. So that's a good question then. Would it be? What if I did that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I suppose it's worth putting them in reserve then.
Can I just ask why you're not moving them in strat mode?
It's a good question. I don't know. I'm kind of skittish about strat mode, but I think you're right. Actually, probably could just do that, and then they would be able to get well within where they need to be. Yeah, you know what? I think what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're relatively safe here. Oh, look, if I'm really feeling skittish about it, I can put them here. Put them in strat mode.
Mm-hmm.
Same with this guy. Well behind any potential trouble. Oh, this is a HQ. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Can't even really get any further than this. Unless I was to put him in reserve. 2.5, 1, 2.5. And then it was go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can't even get much further than that. No, those interdiction markers are a pain in the ass. I'll give you that much.
Well, that was the point.
Yes, yes.
One of the very few tools the Soviet Air Force has at its disposal.
Indeed, indeed. Okay. 29th. No, I'll save that for the central thrust. Yep. Yep. Okay, we got you in reserve. We got these guys down here. 13. 1, 2, 3.5. Yep. Trying to preserve reserve markers. Need to keep some for other fronts. Yeah, you can also come up in. Don't want to get on the cusp of the river because these guys that would make them way too easy of a target.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I need to. That guy needs to leave a breakdown behind to look after Bobroysk. We do not want any funny business in Bobroysk. Alright, and now this HQ down here. Right, because there's a lot of supply dumped down there actually. And I don't have anything to move it just yet. So I think I'll keep him there just to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Just one
I'll move
note
him up.
about that.
Yeah, sorry, what was that?
This guy here, currently out of supply.
Yeah, he is. So I
I
need
mean,
to.
he doesn't have strays, so you probably have to move that HQ somewhere to
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
change that.
Yeah, but then that HQ is practically useless if he moves there.
Yeah.
There's got to be somebody. Oh well, fuck it. This guy.
Okay.
I'm sure you won't attack him across the river. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Yeah,
9,
now it's
10.
fine.
Well, okay. I'll keep him here, and I'll just suck up as much as I'll keep him there and suck up as much as that supply as I can, and I'll use these guys to drop off supply closer to the front that's not going to be used right now. Yeah, 2 wagons. Right, yeah, so for now I'm just gonna, that's true, I need to think about the trucks. 1 truck, 2 truck, 3 truck stack over there. So yeah, we do have the 5 trucks. So I do need to keep in mind, and generally speaking, that truck extender is most likely going to be ending up around here. So yeah, I need to, right, well, let's just start with this guy here. We'll give him, right, I kind of want to drop things off where they're accessible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Plus 5 is 12. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, and he'll drop it there so he can stop there. Empty his load. We can put 2 Guderian supply here, subtract 1 from there. Okay, that's that supply movement done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 wagon extenders. I want them up north, that's right. Oh, well, actually, they would be better served bringing in, yeah, no, okay. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever, we'll just leave you there for future business. Increase you up to 4. Alright. Another guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, a good wealth of supply there. We're not, even with the assault we're about to conduct, we'll at least be not pushing things too hard. Alright, it's safe to say that for the most part, I'll just chuck these, 1 more under him, and I'll just chuck him underneath. Yeah, safe to say that all eligible movement that I can actually do around this part of the front has been done. Of course, there will be more. We'll just get to that. I'll just give it a brief look over more, see if there's anything I could have possibly further optimized, but I do not think so. Oh, there is a bridge marker here. Probably shouldn't leave that unoccupied. In which case,
Well, you can occupy it during agitation, I guess.
yeah,
Okay.
I'll just leave him there. Not like I'm expecting an exploitation from this assault, so can not worry about that. Right, now for this more central area here. Right now, I just want to.
Before you move on,
Yep.
something occurred to me just now that I would clearly like to discuss. So now you're resolved to attack Mogilev instead of starving it out. I was just wondering what you think of the following. If the Axis is putting a wagon extender in this hex, maybe next turn or the turn after, that wagon extender would be able to trace back to the supply source here, I think, assuming that there is the bridge marker here. And then you could position, an HQ forward that will then draw from the wagon extender. The advantage of this is you would not have to spend the units, the supply, to attack Mogilev.
You have a point, but unfortunately, I've already moved everything into position, so Now we
I'm
get to.
not. This is better. I just want to point out would be another way to go about solving the situation. Solving the
It would be, yes, but I well, we'll see. We'll see if this plays out. We'll just have to
Sure.
wait
I
and
mean,
see.
it's just that I could argue that if you now spend so much effort and supply on taking out Mogilev, why not do this on turn one? With a series of overruns. Yes, that's also going to cost you units and supply.
Mm.
Then the bridges are in your position on turn two or even during turn one. It's just different things to consider. I mean, every strategy has
Mm.
advantages and disadvantages. Just want
Mm.
to point out a few other
Mm.
possibilities.
Yeah, no, it is. It is something I hadn't considered the extender. Yeah, so I was so hyper focused on the fact that the bridges are quite near and dear for
Hmm.
track and truck. I hadn't thought about a wagon extender.
I mean, you would still have to move, you would still slow you down, of course,
Mm.
right? Because your units would have to use the bridge marker and, the +5 or +3 movement penalty for moving across a minor river.
Mm.
But you could keep going east for quite a distance, I think.
Mm.
It's just a different way of going about things. Nothing wrong with the way you've done it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. I may be forced to use that strategy if the assault on Mogilev doesn't work out.
Right.
So it can be a good case study on the merits of bypassing a siege. Anyhow, in the Orsha section, let's take a look. This should be a lot quicker and simpler because we've got less on the field forces deal with a lot of reinforcements that have to be dealt with. But the simple fact is that I want to assault this objective.
Hmm?
I have a lot of units with zone of control on them, and I don't think I'm going to be able to release that zone of control anytime soon. We've got some people in there. I'm not sure if it's a two-step division and some additional stuff, or if it's a two-step division with step losses, but I would highly doubt that it's a step loss marker because you wouldn't want to leave a position like that as exposed as that. There is also the option of doing a probing attack to understand exactly what we're dealing with a hip shoot, because I do have
Mm-hmm.
these two units adjacent. I might actually do that. Let's. Do you have any patrol zones around there?
No, the fighters are too far away, I think.
All right. Let's start with a hip shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Should I use someone further away or should I use someone close by? Uh, hmm. There are definitely some people that are not going to be able to do basically anything other than contribute to this unless they move to the map. Unless I build. The H isn't. Is that range? 53. You know, this will be humorous. All right. I'll start with this guy. He's not going to do. He's not going to do much else. I'll roll for flak. No. So is there any density shifts?
Yeah, there's a density shift of +1.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Alright, so we're starting the 3 to 4. We're shifting one to the left for hedgehog. We're shifting one to the right for density. We're going to stay in the 3 to 4. It's not a hit, but we learned something. Alright. Jeez. So there's 4 steps in there, which means not only is there that, there's something with 3 steps under it. No, wait, no, there's something with 2 steps. Okay, so there's two two-step divisions. Oh, okay. Well, jeez, this is funny. I'm going to get all these guys into combat mode, so I've got my zone of control set up before I do anything extra cheeky. But yeah, screw it. Let's actually, you know what? Prepared assault or to try to hip shoot and push through? Good question. I'd save a lot more money if I tried to hip shoot and push through. Let's try our luck with this, see if it works. Flak,
Mm-hmm.
no. 12 to 16, net 0 shift, 12 to 16 roll is an 8. Alright, we got the DG.
Does it? Mm-hmm.
I don't like the ecstatic tone in your it tells me I'm going to fail. But let's, right, are these guys fueled up? No. Let's start by fueling these guys up. And alright, I'll start with an overrun with these 2 units against this hex. I will pay the associated cost.
Okay. Just brief. Why combat supply comes from? Okay, it comes from here. Going to pay from a loaded wagon.
Roger that. Okay. I have. Oh, it's open terrain. Do you have any? Oh, well, the hedgehog has AT. So it'll be 3 times 1.5.
It's 17 divided by 2 for the DG, so it's 8.5. It's essentially the 1111 and a move mode 624 rifle division.
So it's 1-to-1 in open terrain with a DRM. So your modified DRM is what?
My modified action rating, you mean?
Yeah, modified action rating. Yeah.
Modified action rating is 2. Action rating
Alright.
2 minus 1 for the DG plus 1 for the
Yeah.
hedgehog.
So I've got +3. I'll roll for surprise. Roll for shifts. Alright, we might be making bacon. 1, 2, 3. 4-to-1. Oh, it's 4 shifts. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. 5-to-1 in open terrain. Rolling 2 dice and adding 3. Yeah, 6. Right. AO1 DL101. Okay.
Hang on. So which column are we on? 4-to-1 open or 5-to-1 open?
5-to-1, and we've just rolled a 6. So that's AO1 DL101.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have to take losses, and I have inflicted a loss. So I'm going to retreat.
Okay. So I'm going to take a step loss then and ignore my other options.
Okay. I will follow up with another overrun with these 2 guys. We've already been fueled, and now I've paid for it, so you pay for your defense again.
Right. Coming from the same source.
Alright, so this time I have 6 times 1.5, which is 9 plus 4. So 9 plus 4 is 13, and you have this time around.
Hang on. So it's 11 plus 3, 14 divided by 2, 7.
Alright, in the 2-to-1 column this time. Rolling for surprise with +3. Yes. So 1 shift, so I'm in the 3-to-1 in open terrain. Rolling for combat. Okay, this might be a little bit better. 8 plus 3 is an 11. Same result. AO1 DL101.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I take another step loss. And ignore the other options.
Down to 5.5 with a 1 action rating. Well, the 17th Panzer is just about already committed. If that was a 9 divided by
I need to pay again. Comes from here. Oh, I've paid. Okay, so right, I'll take a step loss and then have to retreat 2 hexes. What makes most sense? Yes, I'll retreat here and then here. I'll step away from the mic for 2 minutes. Just keep talking. Yeah, right. Thank you. Salt on what? Hmm. Uh, I think it would be fine, no? I mean, as long as you're on the line, you're okay. Oh, no, no. I think I see what you mean. No, no. I think that this hex has the line going through it. Therefore, it's good for either Hod or Guderian, I think, without incurring a penalty. That's how I would interpret it. I wouldn't start trying to measure how much of a hex is north or south of the line. Would you do that? Would you have considered? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Right. Yep. Mm. sure. That makes perfect sense. Yeah. I think how long have you been at it now? It must have been how. Yeah. Oh, already. Okay. Yeah, sure. Let's stop here. That's Thank you and goodbye.